There's quite a lot of talk about restricting the use of plastic in the news at the moment. I'm all for that, and I'm actively seeking ways and changing plans in order to reduce my use of plastic. However, plastic is very useful. These are 3D printers, and I've been astonished at how many problems I've been able to solve by using these in combination with 3D modeling software. This is an enclosure for a temperature sensor, which I'll fit later in this video using this design, which will help ensure that I line up the fixing holes and drill them in exactly the right place. Initially, to protect the temperature sensor, humidity sensor that I have from the elements, it's not designed for outdoor use, I fabricated this wooden box and it's worked, it's kept the elements out. However, I'm not sure whether it might be having an impact on the accuracy of the readings I'm getting. So once I got the 3D printer, I came up with this design. Initially, I was going to base my 3D printed design more on a traditional box like this. Having done some research online and seeing other people's designs, I modified it to suit my own requirements, and that's the benefit of these 3D printers. It's very easy to bespoke things to suit your very niche circumstances. So the way this works is, and I'll show you putting in the sensor shortly, you pop the sensor in there, this gets mounted to the wall outside, and then it snaps into place like so, and has a drainage hole in the bottom so that should I need to, it will come off quite easily, but should you need to give it a bit of a helping hand, and then you can push down on the tang from the inside and release it that way. So this is the other design that I showed you on screen there. Quite proud of this. It's taken a while to get to this stage. I have a couple of, well, one other thing that I want to give more consideration to before I perhaps try and market it. And the way this works is it's got two prongs there, as you can see. And you line them up with the holes, and this has got two levers, and what I found when I just had one lever was that if I pushed down on the one lever, it had a tendency to move the gauge slightly. So if you've got two of these, then it means that line that up like so, put the levers into that position, and if you push down them both together, then it means that it's bang on where you lined it up. And indeed, let's see, bang on. Now that I have the centers, take this insert out and put this insert in. And that hole there is for a 6mm masonry bit. And this hole here, you'll see in a minute, takes up to a 5mm M5 screw. Lots of plastic here. These plug trays have been excellent over the years. I've considered other ways that I might replace them with a wooden, more environmentally friendly system, and really there's no substitute for these. I'm going to downsize considerably from now on in terms of growing trees, and I will be moving towards a wooden planter system. Still working on that. However, these have been great. If anybody wants them, I'm going to be giving them away. Then just get in touch, they're free. So let's get back to fitting my temperature sensor. This is dust extraction. Not really a big factor outside here, however inside it is. Currently this is set up for the Karcher vacuum cleaners that I have, so that's the dust extraction there. It's a bit awkward here, so bear with me. Around 1.2 to 2 meters is where official temperature sensors are placed. That's considered to be about human height from small child to adult. And the way this works is I'm going to drill the hole first, turn on the vacuum cleaner, hey, no dust. Not a huge consideration outside. Nonetheless, nice to be neat and tidy. Now what happens is, if this is coming out on camera, put a screw through that part. Screw it into the raw plug. And make sure it's level. It's got two bubble levels, one for vertical, one for horizontal at the top. And the dust extraction port swivels round, and it's also detachable, so I'll be able to make different connections for different makes of vacuum cleaner. Like I say, I'm still kind of working on it, but I'm pleased with how far I got so far. As I say, just making sure it's level there. That's about bang on. Turn the vacuum cleaner on. Unscrew it. Now, with a great deal of confidence, I'm going to secure the plate for the temperature sensor. And I'm expecting these holes to line up bang on. Which they do. So pleasing. Spacers will allow some air circulation at the back. That was one of the issues I had. First of all, where it was secured before was next to a building, and it also wasn't a white reflective enclosure, so I'm pretty pleased with that. As you can see though, bang on, the holes lined up bang on. A big motivation for coming up with this device to gauge where the holes need to be drilled, and also for the dust extraction, was fitting all of these battery chargers. So these have 2, sometimes 3 holes, and you drill the holes and then you slip the battery charger down over the back of it. And previously, the method of doing this was to get a piece of paper, place it over where you wanted to have the holes, and I'm not sure what this is called, etching. And generally I found it more time consuming, less accurate, and there's no dust extraction. So, and getting it level as well, which the device that I've come up with does really well. So the next task is getting the temperature sensor, which is screwed into one of those nesting boxes up there. I've been getting an occasional reading from that sensor, which is below the closest official weather station, though the vast majority of the readings I'm getting are between 1 and 3 degrees above those of the closest official weather station. So I'm hoping that because this has better airflow, it's white and more reflective, also has airflow up the back. It is attached to a building, though this is the outhouse, it's not heated. It will retain some residual heat, especially during the summer. However, as I say, this has airflow up the back, so it's not actually in contact with the building. I guess time will tell how the differences between the official weather station and my sensor here will pan out. It's definitely possible to print out your own flower pots on a 3D printer. These were printed in PETG. The plants are very healthy, no issues with them growing in these 3D printed pots. However, as I've said earlier, I've got a plan for making, now that I'm not going to be growing in bulk, I've got a plan for making wooden containers to grow not just trees but also tomatoes and my own food. Some good stock of eucalyptus left. These are globulus, of which I'm a fan. These are regnans, also a big fan of them. Both these varieties are very fast growing. Granulata, a new variety for me. I'll be planting a few for experimental purposes on my patch, and I have plans for these perenniana to surround what will become a pond in due time. It's been on the agenda for a while. I coppiced the perenniana, and as you can see, they're coming back strongly. Perenniana, common name spinning gum, often grown for floral foliage. I'm still very keen on growing trees, eucalyptus and paulownia in particular, though I am scaling back. I won't be growing any more in bulk. I'll be happy to start trays of seedlings if anybody's interested in buying them, but I won't be spending any more time plugging them up. So if you want to plug them up yourself, then these plug trays are free if you want to come and collect them. And as I say, if you want eucalyptus seedlings that are guaranteed viable, i.e. I'll germinate them first, then get in touch and we'll sort something out. It's becoming a tomato jungle in here. I know exactly what I should be doing with tomatoes: string them up and prune them, cut them back where necessary. time is a big factor, and I just haven't had it at the moment. I've been really enjoying the 3D printing and learning 3D modeling software, and there are only so many hours in the day. And one very pressing task is to transform this area into the storage for my firewood. I'm hopeful that'll be achieved in the next week or so. Thanks for taking the time. Meantime, good luck.